Every day I see cases in the mainstream media where they're forced to retract and admit that crosses burned in yards, swastikas painted on dorms, notes given to women that are racist were really done by the very people claiming that they were victimized. Most of these events are false flags. In fact, there are very few where it isn't totally staged. I'm going to go over just some of the latest admitted frauds and questionable events right now. We're doing this live on Facebook Mentions. It'll go to YouTube later, but I'm shooting in HD so we can add clips and videos to it. This is going to be short and sweet, so here we go. You ready, Zimmerman? I've tried to reintroduce the term inside job to the nomenclature, to the language of the West. False flag, self-inflicted wound, frame-up. Everybody knows there's frame-ups in crime. Governments sometimes frame other governments. Sometimes husbands plant things on their wives or vice versa. Sometimes employees plant things on their bosses or bosses plant things on their employees. Sometimes corrupt police have been caught framing people as well. But mainstream media says that doesn't exist. Frame-ups aren't happening. And more, it'll be a tiny blurb in the back of the newspaper or at the end of a TV newscast that there have been staged events where somebody burns a cross in their yard or somebody puts KKK letters on their doorstep or individuals have swastikas put on their dorms or a lacrosse player is raped by 15 white men because she's black. And I can't really think of cases where it doesn't come out that it's been staged. There have also been a lot of cases where white women will cut things into their faces and claim that black people did it, and vice versa. There seems to be a fetish with this. There are a lot of cases of firefighters who, on average, are great people, burning down buildings and calling the fire department themselves. The false flag, the self-inflicted wound, the stage event is admitted and is a fact in criminology and is one of the most common crimes out there. Now, that said, mainstream media, when they have these events, will not even say, hey, most of these have been staged. Is this one staged? And there's several examples in the news today. NBC News has been forced to report hateful Trump notes allegedly aimed at student were fabricated, university says, by the student themselves to garner attention. Here's the Washington Post. D.C. restaurant apologizes after hosting alt-right dinner with Sieg Heil salute. Now, several frame-ups are happening here. Number one, there's a video clip of a well-known internet personality known for her antics going to the event and hailing Hitler with two men caught on video admitting that they were Jewish coming to see the event. Then the media claims it's an alt-right event. That's a term coined by Hillary Clinton just 5 months ago, as if she's God. Anybody that disagrees with her is alt-right. Even a lot of people that disagree with her are liberals. So this event probably did have some white nationalists, some racists at it. We've done research. It was the Jews there hailing Hitler for the overall news story. But still, regardless, what is the media calling some perhaps possibly racist event alt-right? They call Breitbart and InfoWars and anybody that disagrees with Hillary alt-right. Then they label alt-right as racist. That's how they're using labeling to control people. And these are just the examples that have come out in the last few days. In almost every case, it turns out that FBI leading KKK groups and white supremacist groups are actually Southern Poverty Law Center, FBI operatives, and others. And they're not infiltrating these groups to stop them or expose them. In my research, they're infiltrating them to build them and make them stronger and more of a menace to create racial division in the culture, in the society. Just like so many of the leftist organizations and communist organizations and Black Lives Matter organizations and La Reconquista organizations are calling for violence and racial attacks on whites. That's also meant to create pressure from the other side to create a divide and conquer society. But whatever you do, think for yourself, research these cases, and in almost every case, it's internet researchers that end up discovering the fact that it has been a staged event and forcing the mainstream media to cover it. But the bottom line is this. Almost all these events are staged. MSM knows it and won't report it, and that's why they're so discredited. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. More reports at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. If you're watching this transmission, you are the resistance. I want to have one more point to mix in. Am I articulating? Okay, I'm kind of tired today. You ready? All right. Yeah. In their lust to demonize Trump, they've been caught putting out fake tweets admitting he ripped people off with his university, which he didn't do. He just settled it. They've got fake quotes how he hates conservatives and thinks they're dumb. And they even admit in the bottom of the articles, okay, the quote above is fake, but almost no one reads to the bottom. This is the level of deception. That's why Tim Allen came out last week and said, listen, I'm not liberal or conservative. I'll go where the jokes are, but when you try to get down to what Trump's actually said, these aren't real quotes. These are made up. It's not real source material. So when you get on the bandwagon to bash Trump, it's idiotic because almost all of it's manufactured. Almost all of it is synthetic. If Trump goes sideways, folks, I'm going to expose him. But so far, that hasn't happened. And what has happened is the entire power structure we claim we're fighting is coming down on us with both feet, telling us all these lies about Trump. And so many people don't want to admit when they've been chumped. They don't want to admit when they've been lied to. So they just basically go along with the fraud and don't want to be told the truth. That's called mind control. That's called giving over your will to somebody else. That's called cognitive dissonance. Good? Okay. Keep rolling there. Let's do one on the communists and we're done. All right. So what, you're going to do the long one that's on the vote fraud? And then what, he'll do the other two short ones?
I think we're going to give one to Wilson as well and Jacobson. We'll figure something. Yeah.
Well, there's only three of them.
Yeah. Josh is working on the rest.
Okay. All right, let's do the alt-right people. Not the alt-right. Let's do the communists. God almighty, this is a really important one. These videos are all up on Infowars.com. All right, I'm ready to blow it away.
Ready?
I'm ready to dominate.
Let's do it.
You ready? All right. Okay, we're in Facebook mentions right now that I'm shooting HD reports that we can add articles and videos to augment the documentation and the experience of awakening. God, how about the communists? It's just so hard to cover. I'm going to try to summon some intellect here and really cover this. Ready? Have you ever asked yourself why big corporations, big universities, big governments promote communism as the supposedly avant-garde, cool, trendy thing to do? It's because it is the most failed, corrupt system the world's ever seen. It was declassified in the 70s by the Frank Church Committee and researched by congressional investigator Anthony Sutton that the man behind the Red Scare had actually been right. That, of course, was Senator Joseph McCarthy. That mega banks and the ultra-rich were funding communism to be the failed ideology to challenge their crony capitalist fascistic program. So communism is the failed authoritarian kissing cousin of fascism. Both are absolutely horrible. And we see communists all over the United States adopting the language, the nomenclature of the state, of the government. Within 1 week of Hillary's defeat and MSM calling all other media fake news, we had communists confronting our reporter just this week in Cleveland, Millie Weaver, a woman, threatening to attack her and saying, "Shut up, InfoWars, you're fake news." I mean, I've never seen anyone adopt the talking points of the multinational corporations more quickly than them. None of them talk out of hand. They all repeat slogans. They're almost all the children of weirdo professors and others, and they just want to bring down what's left of the free market because they believe they're going to have this new utopia they set up once they get control. The type of utopias we've seen in North Korea, the type of utopias we've seen in Cuba or Venezuela, the type of utopias we saw in the Soviet Union or Communist China. Communist China with more billionaires than the other country. The generals owning the Foxconn slave laboratories, but never a word out of the Maoist who personally threatened me in Austin, personally physically attacked me in Austin, and who are now on national TV video saying, what's better than 9 dead cops, 10 dead cops? What's better than 10 dead cops, 11 dead cops, up to 20? Bang, bang, you're dead, just as the new Black Panther Party says. All Ford Foundation funded. We've sent undercover reporters as part of a 2-year investigation to their events and to their meetings. We're now ready to let them know we've been doing that. And it is university professors there. It is the police review board involved. It is the city of Austin through their operatives and through UN funding and the Justice Department, the Strong Cities Initiative that is funding the new Black Panther Party, the Communist, the Maoist, the Red Guard, you name it. And they are exactly lockstep, whether I see them in L.A. or whether I see them in Cleveland, Ohio, or Austin, Texas. And you have to understand something. I want to reform the problems in police because tyranny will come to your door in a uniform many times. But I don't hate cops on average, and we have some of the best police in the world here in the U.S., and on average, there's some of the most patriotic folks who really care about what's happening. Now, I'm not in some butt-kissing fest with the police, but I'll tell you this right now. I do not support people randomly saying, go up and shoot cops in the back of the head, when we have in the last week at least 8 dead cops, 4 shot just in the last 24 hours, and new numbers are coming in all the time. And people are just being executed. Police officers are pumping gas. They're getting shot in the back of the head. Police officers are writing a ticket. They're being shot in the head. Police officers are at a wreck scene. They're being shot in the back of the head. They're being executed by cowards. And this will be used then to further militarize the police, so the globalists coming in to federalize them will finally have a paramilitary army ready to go after the patriots. So the communists provide the stimuli. Black Lives Matter and Soros provide the stimuli and the leadership to attack the police. Then their funding will be shut down. Down the road. This has happened in other countries. And the police who've now been militarized into death squads will be used against the American people and others. That's why I'm reaching out to police who understand what's happening, who understand the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution, who understand what's in the Ford Foundation documents, the congressional hearings, and in the WikiLeaks. This is not my opinion. This is an organized criminal operation in the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, and the United States, as well as Latin America and other areas, to attack the police and local government. They get destabilized. The feds come in attacking them, saying it's their problem, it's their fault they're being shot and killed. The answer is federalization, they then say, as Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are on record admitting this whole Black Lives Matter movement is about destabilizing things and then pushing for a federalization/UN takeover of our police. And it's actually happening. Is that pretty good so far? There you go. And I want to be crystal clear. If I was calling for the cold-blooded murder of police, I would be arrested, and I should be. Now, let's be clear. I don't want to call for the cold-blooded murder of police randomly or for any other matter. I want justice to be done just like I demand justice. But the point is, why are communists all over the United States allowed to promote in minority areas the killing of random police officers for their race? It's being done because they are protected. And this is what the globalists want. And it's called the Strong Cities Initiative. Look it up in their own words, with multinational UN and EU groups coming in and then dictating to the police and local government how they're supposed to capitulate and go under their political commissar policing systems to wage war on property owners, patriots, conservatives, and veterans in exchange for heat being taken off of the police. The globalists, to bring it down to its lowest level, are trying to bully the police and local governments with death squads into submitting to their will and becoming political officers to carry out their operations. The good news is this isn't Ukraine, where Soros was successful 3 years ago doing this, or Syria or other areas. This is the United States of America. And the liberty movement that isn't right or left, but is just constitutional and common sense, has been spreading the word about what these scumbags are doing. And the world is waking up to it and really exposing it and understanding what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not free speech to call for police officers to be murdered. It's not free speech to call for violent revolution. And it's not legal to carry firearms, which they themselves push for gun control, and to have these dirty little scumbag commies out there with semi-auto assault weapons demonizing the Second Amendment, which they hate, while they menace and threaten everyone and chant about dead police, which is only designed to further demonize the Second Amendment. When you're carrying arms, calling for violence, you are menacing the public and are involved in domestic terrorism. We carry arms peacefully, openly, to promote the idea that we have a right to them that folks fought and died for. Not so little pieces of cowardly trash like the communist, funded by George Soros and the big banks, can run around pissing all over our sacred right. So I'll explain it. Bottom line, the city of Austin and the grand juries, I know are run by the Democrats, but for God's sakes, there's a lot of Democrats still that are decent people. Do not put up with the calls for cop killing or for citizens who aren't communists to be killed. Find your humanity as the district attorney in this town and as the county attorneys and do the right thing and prosecute these communists that are progressively getting more and more arrogant, more and more brazen, and more dangerous. Because I assure you, when they hurt people or when they get hurt, it is going to be the Democratic Party officials that have allowed this to take place who are going to be held accountable. And when more cops die, which is happening all over the state of Texas as we speak, it is going to be you who allowed this criminal activity to take place who will be held responsible. Because I know for a certainty, that the Austin police chief and others have wanted to crack down on this and have been told to stand down. So understand, this is the level of treason we're dealing with. As for the communist, I don't wish you any harm. I hope you wake up from your evil. But I'll give you a warning Christ gave to his disciples. Those that live by the sword die by the sword. All right, that's it. Great job of the crew. We're going to cut all these videos and get them out. I want to wish you a good Thanksgiving. That's a big video. That video is probably the most important because it's got the communists attacking us. Attacking the guy. You know what I love about the commies? Yeah. They attacked a guy in crutches who was hit by a car and his brain damaged. Then one of them ran away from us and hid in a frickin' trash can. All I was waiting for was one of you to hit me. Once you did it, I could defend myself. And you little bastards ran. Why do you come from such cowardly families? If you're going to shoot somebody, let them know you're coming and give them a chance. Don't shoot them in the back of the head. You know, I think about all the hundreds of millions of people communists killed in the last century, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off bad. I'll be quite honest with you. Makes me want to seek justice. You know, I'm going to seek it. I'm going to seek justice in legal and lawful ways. But you know what? My eyes are now turned on you, communists. You understand? My eyes are now turned on you. And so are my listeners. Good luck.